Hello, my friends. Thanks for jumping on with me. I wanted to get on here today and talk a little bit about what is happening in the health space and also to review some of the new products that doTERRA has come out with that I think you'll be super excited about. So I've been very excited too about the narrative that has been playing out as far as people are talking more about health and what is happening with big food, big pharma, and why is America the sickest population out there when we absolutely should be setting the example and should be the healthiest. I'm sure you would agree. I had mentioned this book, Good Energy, and definitely suggest that you read it. Callie and Cassie Means are the ones who wrote it, and they give us some great insight to what's really happening behind the scenes with big food and big pharma. They come from those industries, and I just love to hear all of this coming out. And then people are like, all right, what is wrong? Why are we so sick? Foundationally, what is wrong with our systems? And some of the things that she had mentioned in her book, disease isn't some random occurrence that might happen in the future. It is a result of the choices you make today. I'm sure you would agree with that. Preventable lifestyle conditions are responsible for 80% of modern human deaths. Preventable metabolic conditions account for over 80% of healthcare costs and deaths today. What do you think about that? 80% of the deaths that we're experiencing absolutely are preventable. And we have the choice to make if we want to start making different habits and routines in our life to go ahead and make those changes. Here were some other statistics that they brought up. Statins are one of the most prescribed drugs in US history, over 221 million prescribed annually. Metformin is prescribed over 90 million times annually. The average American over 65 sees 28 doctors in their lifetime. 14 prescriptions per American per year are doled out. 6 out of 10 adults are living with a chronic illness. And it's not just the adults, it's also the kids. So among teens, 18% have fatty liver disease, close to 30% are pre-diabetic, and more than 40% are overweight or obese. Most of our other conditions that torture and shorten our lives are actually rooted in the same thing. The ability to prevent and reverse these conditions and feel incredible today is under your control and simpler than you think. I have a lot of people that'll come to me and say, well, what about genetics? Like I'm predisposed to have these particular issues. And yes, that absolutely does play a key role. But have you ever heard the saying, the genetics load the gun, but lifestyle pulls the trigger? So absolutely, you can make a change with that. And I know it's super cliche, but I always tell people, like, you're going to pay for it. You're either going to pay for it now or you're going to pay for it later. If you pay for it, you'll pay for it later by lifestyle choices that you have made, the things that you've been eating, the toxic load that you've been exposed to. That is when disease hits ultimately. If not now, many of you are experiencing some sort of disease now at a younger age than we should ever be experiencing it. But most of the time, it is when we are about to retire or we go into retirement phase that now we can't play with our grandkids. We can't travel. We are constantly medicated. We're in the hospital. What type of a life do you want? Do you want to be reactive like that, or do you want to be proactive and invest in your health now to hopefully prevent those particular issues from happening, knowing that they ultimately will? It's just bound to happen unless something major shifts with our natural or with our food and pharma industries. So my goal in doTERRA, as I've been a wellness advocate for over 10 years, is I want people to feel amazing and I want them to live their best life. And we all want to look our best. We all want to feel our best, and we all want to live longer, healthier, correct? Isn't that the goal? So it's with basic education. The more that we have these discussions and talk about the options that you have and the products that are out there that can help support that, that's super important to me that you have that knowledge and of course can make the changes that you choose to make to alter the course of disease. So most of my clients, and they do come to me, complain about brain fog, sleep issues, digestive issues, respiratory issues, focus, unhealthy inflammatory responses throughout their body, poor immunity, metabolism issues, blood sugar issues, stressful and anxious feelings, or infertility. That is very common nowadays. It's just how it is, even though it shouldn't be normal. And you may also be experiencing one or more of those as well. And that's where I love to help, again, bring education to the forefront so you know that you do have options. When many of us started with doTERRA, we were exposed to the essential oil side of it, which they're amazing, right? doTERRA's CPTG oil, certified pure, tested grade, are the most pure, the most potent essential oils on the market, hands down. And they're gifts to the earth, right? They absolutely can do amazing things for our health, and I've absolutely loved them. But we're changing a little bit of our focus in doTERRA to more foundational wellness that's powered by essential oils. So that our products are even more amazing, bringing in the science and understanding what's happening with these oils and how they can further make our products absolutely incredible, remarkable, and different from anything else that you'll see in the world. So one thing that I always say too is, our bodies are absolutely amazing, and they're always trying to fix us. Wouldn't you agree? But we're not giving it what it needs to fix itself. And eating ice cream and Cheez-Its and processed food and energy drinks and getting all of our energy from caffeine because we don't think there's any other option. Like, all of these things are making an impact in our bodies, and our bodies just do not know how to get better when they can't pull from something that's not there. One of the products I've always talked about, one of the biggest game changers in doTERRA, this has changed more lives in doTERRA than just the oils by themselves, is the Lifelong Vitality Pack. Many of you may already be taking this. Many of you may have been taking it for years. Maybe you've taken a break from it. This has been my everyday regimen for over 10 years now. It's actually how I got started in doTERRA. I have a lot of inflammatory issues because of sports injuries over the years, torn ligaments in my ankles, back issues, like you name it, lots going on. And so this has been key for me to feel like I can function and feel human every day. Also, I've noticed this has been huge for me for fatigue and energy. And when I do stop taking it, like, I feel the inflammatory response coming back in my body, and I feel like I am dragging. And that also the mood shifts a bit. Don't feel quite as happy when I'm not taking these. So I'm a huge believer of them, not only because I feel the difference, but because I understand the science behind it. And I understand that this fills the nutritional gaps that we have because our food is not up to par. All right. Again, our apple today is not the apple that we had in the 1950s. And actually, what was so in the past 30 to 40 years, nutritional density has dropped by 80%. And even when we try to eat well, we try to eat organic, we try to eat lots of fruits and vegetables, again, it's just, they're not the same. And you have to understand, right? We have so many pesticides and chemicals in our soil, and it's in our soil, it precipitates up, it rains down and drops over here, and then it gets over here, and then harvested here, and then brought up. Like, it's so hard to not contaminate the products that we have out there anymore. It's in everything, right? Plastics are in everything. We're eating them. It's definitely not something you want to get so wrapped up and stressed about, but it is a real thing. And I think most of you understand that and understand, like, okay, great. What changes can I make to make my life better? So, Lifelong Vitality Pack. Awesome. Definitely a must. If you do nothing else in doTERRA, I always say, take this, feed yourself, just feed yourself and see what your body can do to help heal yourself. There are three complaints that a lot of people have with LLV. One is there's so many vitamins, and it's because they're not heat compacted, and which most of the supplements out there nowadays, there is no federal oversight when it comes to vitamins and a lot of different products. And so they can say anything they want. doTERRA can say anything they want for the most part and get away with it. So it's a matter of which companies do you trust? Do you understand where they're sourcing their products? Do you understand if they're sustainable? What is actually in them? All the good stuff. But in general, most of your supplements out there are not what you think they are. And most of them are not bioavailable, and they end up in the toilets, literally full in the sewers. And so you are literally flushing your money down the toilet. So in any case, these are loose leaf, and so you're going to take more capsules than your typical vitamin out there. A lot of people don't like that. Number one, they don't like taking all the capsules. Number two is they'll forget their second dose of the day, which of course means they're not getting the full benefit of the Lifelong Vitality Pack. And number three is 40% of our population can't methylate B vitamins, which means they can't even absorb the nutrition from the product in the first place. And 80% of them don't even realize that they have the gene that doesn't allow them to methylate B vitamins. Very interesting, right? So how do we solve that problem? doTERRA has just come out with a new product, which I am so excited about. It's called VMG Plus. And this is basically, first of all, it's our vitamins, minerals, and greens. It is taking alpha CRS and our microplex VMZ, which are the vitamins and minerals. It's taken these two and putting it in here and also adding our greens. So we are going to discontinue the greens and they will be in here now. What's wonderful about this is it's addressing some of those core issues that people have. One, you don't have to take any capsules. It's all right here. Just pour it. It's a sachet powder. Just pour it in your drink. Number two, you only have to take one a day, so you don't have to remember your second dose. And number three, methylated B vitamins are already in here. So you do not have to worry about that. You will absolutely absorb this. So this is huge, huge for how we're moving forward in doTERRA. And I love that they keep coming up with new science, new technology, and new ways that we can maximize the products that we have, create new ones, and listen to the customer's needs as well. So let's talk a little bit about VMG. First of all, the finest fuel for your body is grown, not manufactured. So if you are taking vitamins that are synthetic and fake, you guys, that is not what our body wants. It wants whole, real food, the real thing. Our body doesn't understand how to process fake. That's where a lot of the side effects come from, and anything that we're putting in our body, on our body, smelling. Our toxic load nowadays is insane. And again, it's just all fake synthetic junk. But our body does understand how to process real. So you put real food in it, real oils, real anything, and there's definitely going to be a much better synergistic effect within your body. So this is a whole food nutrient complex. It's got 5 powerful blends within it: the nutrition blend, cellular support blend, biotransformation blend, superfood blend, and bioavailability boosting blend. So there's tons of things in here. It actually has 90 science-backed ingredients within the whole foods, vitamins, minerals, and greens. It has a pineapple mango flavor. It's actually really yummy, you guys. A lot of people did not like the greens that we had before. These are amazing, and I can't wait for you to try them and let me know what you think, and I hope you'll love them as much as we love them too. Also, super bioavailable. It includes essential oils, probiotics, and liposomes, which help increase the bioavailability and absorption up to 540%. Basically, you're not going to have expensive pee. As we talked about before, whatever vitamins you're taking, how much of it are you absolutely flushing down the toilet? There is no point in spending money on this stuff if it's not bioavailable. If it's not going to work. Let's see. What were some of the other? 80% of vitamins actually out there are not absorbed into the system. Keep that in mind. So which vitamins are you taking? Let's see what else we have here. So you would actually need to spend over $250 on products to get only a portion of what's in VMG, which is pretty cool to know that. And I always tell people that too, like, again, you're going to pay for it now, you're going to pay for it later. Put a budget together that makes sense for your natural wellness and start bringing that into play. Consider what groceries you're buying, how much of those groceries you would need to even get the nutrients that you would want. Like, start making those adjustments. And again, how can we be proactive and put the fuel in our body now so that we age better, that we live longer, that we look better, that we feel better? We only get one life. That's what we want, is to feel amazing, right? That's what I want for you. And that's pretty much how I feel like I feel in doTERRA. So I always want to share that out. So what are the main things that you're going to get from the VMG if you take it? Energy is huge. Immunity support, gut health and digestion, liver function, brain function improves, focus. You're going to optimize cellular and organ function, hormone function, skin support, balanced mood. Also, I tell people if you're dealing with skin issues, most of that starts in the gut. So let's start here. So those are some cool things about VMG Plus, and one reason I am so excited has now come to the market. Now, we have filled 2 of these of the Lifelong Vitality Pack, but what about the omegas? doTERRA has now come out with a much more new and improved E Omega Plus. I am really excited about this little guy. So you are going to take 3 a day of these with food. They are a little bit bigger than the other soft gels that we had before, but there are some really cool things about it. First of all, you can literally pop it in your mouth. It does not taste fishy because it has wild orange oil. So exciting. Like, I don't know if you guys ever had the omegas in the Lifelong Vitality Pack, but if one of them pops, like, oh my gosh, the whole thing smells like fish. It's pretty insane. And I don't particularly like fishy fish taste myself. So this is amazing that I could actually pop this in my mouth. And it's kind of like those, what was the name of that gum that you could chew and it would like pop in your mouth? It was super fun. It's kind of like that. So you can either swallow this little guy or just throw it in the trash. You can swallow these, you can pop these, you can add them like in your blender bottle with your VMG, and you can put a little pin in these or cut them with scissors and squeeze them in if you want, mix them. You won't even taste the fish. Another way you can take them. So you've got a lot of options on how you can get it in. And something that's cool about the wild orange oil, so it enhances absorption and benefits the omega-3s. But because the wild orange oil actually is 95% limonene, it supports heart health by preventing oxidation of the fish oil and keeping it fresh and potent. So there's a whole science reason behind why wild orange oil is in this. It also helps with healthy cholesterol levels and inflammatory response. Let's talk a little bit about omegas and what we're seeing with omegas in the world. So of the top 16 fish oil supplements, 82% of them do not comply with their own label claims for EPA and DHA ratios. Again, who do you trust, right? Hopefully many of you have already been in doTERRA and you do trust their products and you do trust that we're absolutely trying to have the best and help the most and be different from so many of those other companies that are out there. Most people are not getting omega-3s. Our diets are overloaded with omega-6s, which are super inflammatory and definitely not what you should be getting, but that is pretty much what we're all getting. Omega-3s are essential to health, but your body can't produce them on their own. And the most efficient way to get them is marine-based. Most people are not eating enough fish. And I mean, one of the reasons I don't eat as much fish, of course, it is pricey to get good, clean fish that's wild caught. And then how do you know it's not loaded with mercury, well, all the heavy metals that are out there, right? And again, now we have so many of our meds are being dumped in our water supply and our oceans. And so our fish now are loaded with meds, other people's meds, right? Here you are trying not to take meds, whatever, and now you're getting them that way. So the average person consumes only about 90 milligrams of your omegas, and you're supposed to, according to experts, at least have 500 milligrams. So the cool thing is, E-Omega has 900 milligrams per serving of omega-3s, and it has 800 milligrams of EPA and DHA per serving. And combined, when you take those together, they may reduce blood pressure and reduce risk of hypertension, which is a risk factor for coronary heart disease. Those are pretty big, right? We're seeing a lot of that in the world. Brain health, cognitive function, healthy inflammatory response, all of those are being impacted when you're taking your omegas. So this also has 2,000 milligrams of fish oil from wild caught Nordic Seas fish. And we saw a really cool video on the farmers out there that we've partnered with, the fish farmers. And it's just so cool to see again, what types of people out there and farmers are out there that are truly trying to make a difference and want clean like we do. The fish is sustainably harvested with full traceability from boat to bottle. That is super important. We want to know where our stuff's coming from. We don't want it contaminated. We don't want it to be adulterated within the supply chain, any of that. And that is very important for you to understand as you're looking at the omegas you may be taking now. Consider moving to one that you can absolutely trust. So energy, joint health, heart, brain, healthy metabolism, healthy respiratory system, maintaining mood is a big part of this, healthy nervous system, healthy gastrointestinal system, brain health, heart health, may reduce risk of coronary heart disease, as we talked about, and risk of hypertension, cardiovascular health, longevity, healthy inflammatory response, and also may help you feel fuller between meals. So a huge laundry list of things that you need omegas for. So hopefully you understand that. These are all things that start breaking down if we're not feeding our brains well enough. So consider the E omegas. And those two replace our LLV, which again is foundational for our health. Now, doTERRA is trying to simplify the products that we take so that people feel like it's easy. And there are so many amazing products that doTERRA has, and I can go into information about all of them, but how do we keep this simple? So we have something called a, excuse me, a foundational wellness bundle, which is VMG Plus, our E omegas, and PB Restore. If you're taking these, you're better than 90% of the population. You are so far ahead of everyone else on this planet when it comes to overall wellness and aging better, feeling better, living longer, healthier, the whole gamut. So we've talked about these two. What is PB Restore? We've had this around for a while, and this really comes down to microbiome diversity. And what we're finding is we definitely don't have microbiome diversity. Do you know that 75% of our food comes from 12 different plants or animals? So we're not out looking for the dragon fruit and all the exotic, vegetables, and we're pretty much eating the same proteins and meats, right? Chicken and beef, and we're not really branching out. So that does not help with microbiome diversity. You need microbiome diversity because it's foundational to systemic health. And as we age, our microbiome diversity goes down, which further opens us up to health issues, immunity issues, all the things. So PB Restore, we call this like our 4 Ps of the probiome. Prebiotics, postbiotics, prebiotics, probiotics, postbiotics, and phages, which basically stand for bacteriophages. So this is a unique formulation of 30 pre, pro, and post and bacteriophages. All right, pre, pro, and postbiotics and bacteriophages. It's a lot of stuff to keep in our head here. That's why I always have to take notes. We have 18 billion CFUs, which consist of 24 active probiotic strains from 22 species. So lots of diversity. Fix your gut. Everything starts in your gut, you guys. All right, so these 3 products are absolutely foundational. If you do nothing else in doTERRA, take these, feed yourself, all right? And hopefully you understand, again, that you can trust these products. And if you want more education on them, you can actually go to doTERRA, Google doTERRA training, and they have a whole page there that you can get training on our, some of the other things I'm going to talk about. But yes, our foundational wellness, our probiome, sunscreen, our sleep kit, like all kinds of things, so you understand why you're taking this. I want this to be something that makes sense for you and that you have a belief in. So what other things did we want to talk about? Did I mention, I think I did mention also among our teens. I'm trying to remember if I mentioned among our teens that 18% of our teens have fatty liver disease and close to 30% are pre-diabetic and more than 40% are overweight or obese. So this isn't just an adult problem, this is a child problem. So these are just as good for kids as well. Like set up your kids for a healthy foundation so they'll be able to manage in life and not have so many issues early. And we have so much power as moms, as leaders, to teach our children a different way so that they're not just pill popping, so that they know that there are natural options to maximize their health. Now, I wanted to see, I wanted to make sure that we covered most of these things. I want to talk about a few just briefly. Like I said, there are a ton of products out there, but I also want you to know, just in case you don't know, so doTERRA has PB Assist. This is also something that would usually go with the PB Restore if you choose, but together they're way more impactful than just one or the other. This one focuses more on gut issues, and this is gut that equals overall wellness. But these taste like a pixie stick and they're super yummy, and I make sure my kids have one of these every day. They don't seem to have a problem eating those. I also want to mention that we have collagen. So if you guys are out there taking collagen from who knows who, consider researching doTERRA's MetaPower Advantage collagen. This is an award-winning collagen that's a 9-type marine-based collagen with NAD, NMN, which those decrease at around age 25. We have those in our body and then they decrease. At 25, we actually start aging and all of that goes away. So you want this in your product. And again, sustainably sourced. It's in a powder form, which is your most bioavailable. Tons of under doTERRA training, you can learn more about this and why you would want to take this versus the other ones that are out there on the market. So when I'm adding into my water, my VMG, my omegas, or swallowing them, you restore, I'm swallowing. You can also add your PB Assist in with your water. You can also add this in with your water. And you can also do protein. doTERRA has protein powder, just so you know, chocolate and vanilla, and we have a vegan. So all of that, like you can get all this in the morning and make it super simple and put it all in one drink and like just chuck it. So a lot of people also will add these in. I prefer to have these separate in my water. These are our doTERRA Recharge electrolytes. And there were some interesting facts about electrolytes. So 70% of our population is dehydrated and 75% of the population is magnesium deficient. And if you do some research on magnesium, so many health benefits to magnesium, and we're deficient. We need them. So consider lemon, lime, strawberry, doTERRA's Recharges. I love them both. You shake them up, open them up, squeeze them in your water. You can either dilute it more or do a shot or throw it in with your VMG, whatever. But I love this stuff, and pretty much that's really all I want to drink in my water anymore. Usually it suggests you can take 1 to 3 of these a day, but a lot of people have head tension issues, and again, a lot of issues that are totally connected with magnesium deficiency, and this should fill those gaps. So also for your athletes out there, instead of your Powerade and your Gatorade, which are just junk and full of artificial colors and sugars, use a natural option like doTERRA's Recharge electrolytes. So I want you to know that those are out there too. We also have another product you're probably familiar with, Mito 2 Max. This has actually been suggested to take with these to really maximize energy. It's about mitochondrial energy. That is where our energy comes from. It's about maximizing that. And so before you go work out or your kids for a sporting event, to take your Recharge with your Mito 2 Max is a really great way to get some natural clean energy. I know that coffee is a big thing for people, and there are benefits within reason of caffeine, but here's some some other statistics that I thought were very interesting. At least 30% of young adults consume energy drinks on a regular basis, and we know energy drinks are not good for you. 73% of American adults drink coffee daily. So caffeine blocks specific receptors in the brain that mediate critical functions like sleep, arousal, cognition, memory, and learning. Caffeine can be good for health, but overconsumption is an issue. And let's admit that most people are overconsuming every single day, having it, not to mention it's loaded with sugar. And of course, that definitely creates some metabolic dysfunction. Did you know that most of our disease out there now is metabolic disease? So it's about understanding our sugar content and all that, as I am digressing and going to another area. But as I'm talking about MetaPower, we have a whole MetaPower system, which is intended to help manage metabolic issues. So along with our collagen, that's all part of the same system. So go into our doTERRA training and get more training on that as well. Caffeine doesn't give us energy. It just blocks the receptors that make us tired, which results in a crash. All right. So the Mito 2 Max creates ATP that is needed for every system in the body, mitochondrial energy. So just so you understand how that works and why, like my goal for people is like, can we get you off the coffee? And yes, I don't drink coffee. I always think like, oh, I was thinking, oh, I like how coffee smells and all of that. Maybe I could do the decaf thing, but I just learned decaf is actually worse because they take chemicals to strip the caffeine from the bean and that whole process. So it's actually more toxic than just regular caffeine in coffee. Anyway, you do have other options. And my goal for you is to feel amazing. I absolutely love you guys and want you to have the best. And I hope you know that I'm always here to help give you support and education and whatever else it is that you need to live your life to your fullest. and to also share that with family, friends, your children, all of that. Um, Life can be so amazing. We have amazing bodies. Let's maximize them. And thank you for jumping on today and learning some more basics and some, let me vomit all over you. And hopefully we'll connect soon. Bye.